Who's going to be the first one? Oh, I think it's Corinne. Why your name's not popping up?
It's all coming up at once.
Okay, we must cheers. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Works.
I must admit, it feels kind of weird to not do this for like 2 days and then like start over on Monday. I do have a bit of a separation anxiety from not virtually seeing you guys over the weekend. Do you guys feel the same way? I'm wondering if I'm the only one who's becoming like completely immersed and obsessed with this show, and it's like if I don't do the good and like drink coffee with you guys, it's weird.
Good morning, Ashley, Sterling, Corinne, Dawn, Kelly, Nicole, Autumn, Julia, Moni. Wow.
Amazing.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay.
And anybody else we didn't mention, but that's because we can't see your name here. Okay.
So let's begin with a question. Growing up, we all have a dream, right? Like, you know, we tell everybody about our dreams. Like, my dream is to be an astronaut or firefighter or like whatever when I grow up, right? But
well, I want to see in the comments, what did you want to be when somebody asked you that question? Under the age of what? Like 10?
I think between the ages of 6 and 10, like I remember when I was in the shower, like just, you know, playing with my imaginary friends. Yes, I had.
I still have them.
I had imaginary friends.
They've been my best friend forever.
Really?
They never leave.
Oh.
They're always there.
Well, mine left. But, you know, anyways, like I remember talking to my imaginary friends in the shower about my dreams. And my dream was to be an astronaut.
That's great.
How about you guys?
Between the ages of 6 and 10, like when somebody asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was your response? I remember saying a police officer and a firefighter. I remember saying both of those things.
Do you think it's because there's so many police officer and firefighter costumes?
I think as a kid, it's somebody that you look up to, right? As an authority over a lot of people that people respect and listen to. And you have like, I don't necessarily want to say control, but like, it's such a large role that everybody knows about it. So when you're a kid, partially it's like, oh, those are the only things I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what a nurse is when I'm 7 years old. Like, you know, I don't know what, anyways. But let's see what you guys have to say.
Go eat your breakfast, Corinne.
I've only been watching since Tuesday and I missed it on the weekend.
Vet.
Wow. Really? 1, 2, 3 different people wanted to be, 4 different people wanted to be a vet?
Holy shit.
Damn. We got 2 that wanted to be teachers. A pirate.
I love that.
Always wanted to be a teacher. We got 3 for teacher. Wow. President of the United States.
Yes. Let's go. Okay, so this is amazing. All right.
3 vets. No. How many vets?
More than 3.
4 vets, 3 teachers, a president of the United States, and what was the other one? A pirate. An astronaut. All right.
Yeah, Jennifer, I wanted to be an astronaut too. I remember that when I was really young, I always thought about it. Like, I knew I wanted to be an astronaut. I wasn't sure about anything else, but my one thing was like, I don't want to be a teacher because I really hated going to school. Though I was a pretty good student, I was extremely studious and hardworking, but I was like, I just don't want to be a teacher. And it's interesting because if you think about it,
you're a teacher.
Coaching is teaching. But of course, the way that you teach is different. So, wow.
Why didn't everybody want to be a vet or a teacher?
Is it because you guys love animals?
And are you a vet now or a teacher now?
Yeah, did anybody who say a vet end up becoming a vet?
Do an emoji hand raise if you became what you stated. That's amazing.
So let's start getting to the main point. You know, of course we all have dreams when we're kids. And yes, we do evolve, not just from, you know, childhood to adulthood, but we evolve throughout our entire lives. But unfortunately, what happens as we evolve from childhood to adulthood in our teenage years is, you know, there's naysayers, right? Whether it's your parents, your friends, your teachers in school, just anybody, right? That start shutting down that little voice inside your head that says, I want to be. And as we grow up, we stop dreaming and we start being consumed in all the noise that's outside, right? Like, you know, all the bullshit that's happening in the world. Most of the things you hear in the news are the negative shit, drama, like things that don't fill you up with positivity and fuel your soul. So that kills our dreams, for one. Very few people, as they evolve, do really lead and live a life based off of what they dream. But most don't, because of all the fear that has been instilled upon us from all the naysayers. And the reality, as we talked a little bit about it last week, is that a lot of the naysayers are actually people who truly love and care about us. But here's the thing, they don't know any different because they haven't been taught anything different. But here's the thing with regards for dreams. You're the only one who is in charge of creating it. And the word that we're going to talk about today.
Well, I want to say too, just because you didn't become what you said you wanted to be when you were a kid doesn't mean you haven't fulfilled your dream.
Right.
I have no desire to be what I said.
That's because we evolve.
Right. And when you're a kid, I think also the reason why there's a lot of answers that said teacher is because when you're a kid, one of the other professions or jobs that you know is teacher, because you're in school all the time and you know that your teacher is like the authority, right? So you're like, oh, that, you know, it's like we have a few things to pick from as kids because it's the only thing that we know. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, we're not trying to say that if you wanted to be a vet and you didn't become a vet, oh, you must not have reached your dream. Shame on you. That's not at all what we're saying. But,
right.
And this is not even about a profession in specifically. This is just about anything you want in life.
How you want to live your life.
Yeah.
Right.
What kind of relationship you want, how much money you want, you know, what you want your body to be like specifically within this community and this group of people, you know, how you want your body to make you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. Let's move on. Yeah.
So this is a great transition because, you know, as we grow up, the only voice we listen to is the voice inside our head. And that's why we pursue dreams. But as we keep on evolving, we're going to come across naysayers, whether we like it or not, that are going to limit our potential because our subconscious believes it. Now, we are in charge of getting ourselves out of it, but unless we are aware about it, it's pretty impossible to do so. And, you know, a few examples with regards to, you know, just physical manifestation and body composition is, you know, moms thinking that when you're a mom, you have this extra weight on you, right? It's a limiting belief that a lot of women, you know, think. that if you're a mom, you can't have abs. Or, I mean, you know, let's say if you were growing up in your teenage years, yes, a lot of women, like, you know, like naturally we start developing hips, and of course our boobs grow and that sort of thing. So yes, we start storing more fat. But because we start getting into these just evolutional physical changes, a lot of us, because of what society tells us, start limiting ourselves and our body and what it's actually capable of reaching because of the stories that other people around us tell us, right? What?
It's not a limiting belief that when you become a mom, you do have extra weight. It's a limiting belief to think that you can't ever improve after that. That's all I can say on being a mom, because I'm not one. So I know that everybody's body's different, and I've heard that every pregnancy is different. If you have more than one kid, these are the only things I know. I cannot speak from experience. But that's not the purpose of this conversation, as moms specifically. The purpose of this conversation is you have, I want to figure out a way to throw this word in there, but the one thing that kills all.
So when you have a limiting belief, most of the time, it's an excuse. And when you make an excuse, you keep on limiting your potential because you believe that excuse to be true, when in fact, that is most of the times not the case at all.
So the one thing that will kill your dreams is excuses. Because on one hand, how do I want to make this make sense? You have results and you have excuses. You have effort. Now, results, outcomes are what we like to focus on, and we forget about our actions. And our actions are what dictate outcomes. Now, if we have an expectation of an outcome and our actions we feel really good about and we don't meet the outcome, we get disappointed, it's easy then to make excuses or fall back on those limiting beliefs and say, oh, it's because of XYZ. Or I think excuse in this sense where people struggle to get to where they want to be is because and sometimes we know we're making an excuse. We're like, I'm just making excuses, right? Like, we know, we're aware. Oftentimes we're not. Like, I don't have time is often an excuse that we're actually unaware of the fact that it's an excuse. You choose where you spend your time, right? So time cannot be an excuse if we all have the same amount. However, based off of your priorities, you will spend time in what's important to you. So if you say you want something, but you're not willing to put in the time, you're making excuses and you don't necessarily want that something that bad. Now, it doesn't make you a bad person. You just need to kind of readjust and rethink what it is that you actually want. Because if you really want something bad enough, there are no excuses. Yeah. It will kill your dreams. People all the time, how many times do we hear somebody, I want to lose weight? How many times have you heard somebody around you in your circle, or how many times have you yourself said, I want to lose weight, but then you find yourself in the same position months later? Now, sometimes it's actually not your fault. You just, unfortunately, even though you show up and you put in the effort, you're given the wrong tools and the wrong strategies, and it takes you back to the same position you ended up in, even though you're trying, right? Even though you're making the effort. But I think that in this case, it's good to understand and think about, are there any places where I am making excuses that I maybe have actually been convinced that it's a real reason, but it's not? Because everything is a choice. Mm-hmm. So, everything that you do, every action you take is a choice.
So anything that the reality is Like it doesn't matter like how committed or not committed you are. This is just the reality of it. And I'm gonna, you know, speak from my own experience, is that unless you're aware of the fact that, you know, excuses are dream killers, you will keep on making the same excuse over and over again. And it doesn't matter how committed you are. If you are not yet where you know your potential is, it's because, chances are, it's because you're still making an excuse or because you're working towards it, right? But a lot of times, it's because we're making excuses. And like, even I catch myself sometimes. For me, the biggest thing has been, you know, like time. Here's the thing, like anything in life can be figured out. But if you don't make it a priority, then you're not going to take the time to figure out what's required in order to take your step to in order to take yourself to the next level, right? So knowing that everything can be figured out means that if you use words like can't, won't, then you just have to be aware of the fact that you're just not willing to put in the work. Because it can.
There's a difference. Can't is the excuse. Won't is your understanding of your unwillingness to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right? Can't is normally what we say when won't is what we actually mean. So think about it for a second. When was the last time you said the word can't? I can't blank. And then replace can't with won't, and then followed by the action that would be required to get the thing that you said you can't get. And then ask yourself if that's the actual truth. Because we do it so much more. I'll take, I guess, like, oh, I can't take the garbage out right now because I need to take a shower. No, I won't take the garbage out right now because I would rather take a shower.
Right.
Right. So if you can replace, right? Because we do it so much more often than we think. And I'm still guilty of this too. I just do my best to catch myself. So the next time you find yourself saying can't, that shit's an excuse. You can, as long as it's realistic, right? But oftentimes, if your mind can think it, it can be achieved.
Yeah.
If we can put a big metal fucking thing in the air that flies hundreds of people from one country to another, tell me what's not possible. Like, that's crazy.
So knowing that, we now know that anything is possible, right? And whatever it is that you want to achieve is possible. Now, a lot of times people make excuses is because, for one, they don't know what they want. Okay, they don't know what they dream about, right? So you have to take the time to really be super clear on what it is that you want. Look, if you're not super clear on what is it that you want, like, for example, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's not clear enough. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Like, how do you want to feel? How will dropping those 20 pounds like change your life, right? Like, saying you want to lose 20 pounds, like it's not gonna get you to take action. Okay, so you have to be super clear on what it is that you want. And once you're super clear, then what you're going to notice is that you're going to start to act in a way that's in congruency with where it is that you want to get to. Right? Now, a lot of times people are just not aware of the fact that they're making excuses. Oh, I can't go to the gym right now because I have to take the kids. Well, maybe you have to work on time management better. Right? Or maybe it's just not a high enough priority for you. But that is why the first step is getting super clear on what is it that you want. Because when you get super clear on what is it that you want, you will also be aware of what sacrifices you have to make. And this is, you know, a conversation that we had a few weeks ago too. In order to achieve something, you're gonna have to make sacrifices, right? There's three forms of sacrifice you can make. You can sacrifice the source of time, you can sacrifice energy, and you can sacrifice money. The more you sacrifice, the better the outcome, and more likely, the faster you will get it.
You know what? I want to actually think about the word sacrifice means to give in exchange for.
Yeah.
So if you, let's say you use 1, 2, or all 3 of those resources, time, energy, money, and you are still making excuses, you are giving something up without the exchange. Now, typically we see that more excuses are made when not enough resource is given, right? I'll use the phrase again, when you pay attention. And now that can mean financially pay, that can mean emotionally pay, that can mean, you know, energy, that can mean your time. You're paying with several different resources. And the worst investment you could make is not investing enough, because you go partially in and you don't go enough in to where you actually get what you want. And so you end up forfeiting and sacrificing without getting the exchange. The exchange comes when you go in deep. So if you really, really want something, you go in deep. Nothing will stop you. So the other thing to think about is the reason why too. Why will dominate excuses? I want to take the example that I heard. I'm not sure if I read it in a book or heard it on a podcast or something, but it was like, actually, I think it was in Ed Milet. The unfortunate example of if a family member, let's say, gets hit by a car. This has to be dramatic and morbid for it to make sense, but heaven forbid this should ever happen to anybody. If you have a family member, a loved one super close to you, gets hit by a car, they're in critical condition and they're in the hospital, but you're in a meeting that's like, you know, really crucial for you to be in. And oh my God, if you leave, there's a security guy by the door. He's like, no, nobody can leave. Like, this is a top secret, whatever meeting. The door can't be open. You're going to punch bouncer man in the face and you're going to bust through the door. And then you get to your car and your tire's flat. You're like, damn. Okay. And then you catch a cab, or you what's that one video game? Something Vice City something where Grand Theft Auto, jack somebody out of their car, steal it, get to the hospital, and then when you get to the hospital, they're like, no, nobody's allowed in here. You're like, fuck you, I'm coming in. That's because it means that much to you. Mm-hmm. Nothing will stop you. You're like, no, if this is the last 5 minutes my family member has in this life right now, nothing will stop me from getting to them to see them, right? So that's an extreme example, but it's because there's a really big why and there's a really big attachment to the outcome. So if you have that attachment to the outcome, there is no excuse. You will find a way.
Yeah.
Boogie meditation sounds.
Yeah, seriously. So you know, really, the purpose of today is to create awareness with the bullshit that we tell ourselves all day, every single day, that limits us from reaching our true potential, right? Catch yourself saying the word can't. Scratch that. I see that a lot of you guys said I took it out of my vocabulary. Epic. Amazing. Now you're going to catch yourself. If like you were to say that word, you're like, that means I'm not willing to.
Yeah, right? What am I not willing to do?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
For 2, know that anything can be figured out. Okay? You just need to get down to what is it that you really want. Saying that you want to lose 20 pounds is not getting down to what you really want. It's like somebody saying, I want $1 million, right? Like, what problem is it going to solve? How is this going to change your life? Nobody will say I want $1 million if, I mean, yes, everybody, a lot of people will say that. But you won't, there's no way in hell that you're going to get it if you don't know why it is that you want $1 million.
And if by some miraculous reason it falls in your lap, which is highly unlikely, I've been waiting for it to happen for 33 years. But if for some reason it falls in your lap and you didn't earn it, you're not going to keep it. So it's the same idea or principle as like a tummy tuck or a liposuction or a whatever kind of procedure you can do to lose weight. It's like if you don't actually earn it, you're not going to keep it because you don't know how to.
Yeah.
You'll always go back to square one until you learn. And in that learning, it requires habits, right? If you want to make a lot of money and keep it, there are habits you have to develop in order to get, earn, and keep
and multiply
or continue rising, right? So anyone like in our one-on-ones, right? It's like you're going to reach your goal and you're going to 5 years from now look back and you're not going to be at your goal. You're going to be better than what you thought you ever could be because you have developed the habits and proved to yourself the consistency and how not complicated it is to actually continue moving forward, right? So you have to earn it though. And to earn it, you cannot be making excuses.
No. The most commonly made excuses too are normally related to time. But anything can be figured out, right? So if you're aware of, now that you're aware, right? Let's say if you're like, oh, I never thought about this before. Ask yourself, what problem is this going to solve? Until you find out what problem is dropping the weight really going to solve, you're gonna keep on making excuses, right? So like you might as well not even get started because you're gonna stay in that cycle over and over again. But once you understand how it's going to improve your life and what problems it's going to resolve, then if you don't know how to get yourself there, then you will figure out who it is that you need to connect with who can, right? Anything can be figured out. It's like, okay, I want to drop 20 pounds because I know that my marriage will be saved and, you know, I will feel confident in my skin and, you know, finally I'll be able to feel like myself again and my husband will feel content because he'll know that I'm no longer in burden. I'll be able to, you know, give more to my kids because I feel unstoppable, right? But wait, I've been struggling with weight loss for like over 10 years. What do I do now? Maybe I should start cutting carbs. Wait, but the last 5 times I did it, I ended up gaining more weight in the long run. Or maybe I should get a tummy tuck, but wait, I actually don't know anybody who got a tummy tuck and got to keep it off for years to come. Okay, maybe I should do keto, but I tried that and it didn't work. Okay, who do I know who is in my circle that looks like they know what they're doing?
Or I know has had the success that I'm looking for and has been where I am. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think just a really important point that you said too, though, is like you have to get real with yourself. Like the why, right? You have to get real with yourself. I don't know how many times I've talked with somebody, you know, over like I've been a trainer for 11 years. I have no idea how many assessments I've done or how many people I've talked to. But all the time, okay, what are your goals? To lose 20 pounds. Why? Because I want to be healthier. No, that's not a reason. Why do you want to be healthier? Oh, because I want to fit into my clothes. No, why do you want to fit into your clothes? Because I want my husband to think that I'm sexy. Why do you want your husband to think that you're sexy? Because it makes me feel validated and important. Oh, now we're getting somewhere, right? Like trying to fit into old clothes, that's not a strong enough reason why. That's actually gonna cut the excuses. because it's not the real reason. There's always something deeper. Keep going deeper. Keep asking yourself really what it means to you. At the end of the day, it all comes down to we want to look better and feel better because we want to feel validated and we want to feel accepted and we want to feel important. Every single person wants those things.
We want to get closer to happiness and get away from feeling pain.
Right. And so, achieving a certain body type gives you confidence that I'm giving you the answers right now. For each person, it's going to be slightly a different path.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, it gives you confidence, which makes you feel empowered. And when you earn it, nothing feels better than that empowerment from self-achievement. And proving to yourself you're capable. Nothing beats that. And I think that when we can walk around and wake up each day knowing, look in the mirror, know that I earned it, I achieved it, I overcame, I am valuable, not just to other people, because you are valuable to other people, but if you don't see your value to other people and yourself, it doesn't mean shit. Because if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter.
So also the reason why you want to get down to why is it that you really want to, drop the unwanted weight or make a change is because we've talked about it a lot of times, but like our brains have evolved literally over like hundreds of thousands of years, okay? We had to survive. So like our brain, like evolutionarily lives in survival mode. And what this means is that our brain will always make a choice that will keep us most comfortable. And that's why most of society is lazy. And to be quite honest, that's why most of society is fat, because of the Amazon era. We see convenience. If something is inconvenient, we get that feeling in our gut. We're like, no, I'd rather not, right? And that's why so many people are actually not, once you get on the journey, you realize that it's not so bad, but so many people are scared to commit because that means facing fear. Right? Because we always, like, again, we've been doubted by so many people. What if I fail? But anyways, we'll challenge you to say, what if you fly? But our brains will talk us out of it. So unless you get down to the root of why is it really important, your brain will tell you to stay in your comfort zone. So let's say, your husband brings pizza for the kids. Your brain will say, it's just a slice. That's not going to hurt, right? Or I had a hard day. Just one drink is just one glass of wine is not going to hurt me. Or just one bite of a cookie, right? Your brain needs to be distracted, like needs to be completely consumed and immersed in what pain are you feeling right now. Otherwise, you're going to keep on making excuses. You're going to keep on having a bite of cookie there, a bite of cookie here, a glass of wine at night to chill, right? The reality is that these things, you know that deep down that it's not helping you, but you're going to keep on making excuses unless you're tunnel visioned, right? And that's why it's really important to identify why is it so important for you. Just one cookie.
Do we have enough topics for this month?
Yeah.
Okay.
This month is already booked.
Yeah. There's so many things that we can talk about. It's crazy.
And that's why we go on live 5 days a week.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that another one that we need to talk about, I totally it left me, actually. What were you just talking about? Oh, we were talking about
figuring out your why, or our lazy brains.
And the expectations like that we have, and why it's so easy to give up on ourselves. And, we also see these transformation photos and we're like, oh yeah, that looks easy, right? I went from really fat, or that person went from really big to really good looking. And so then, you know, we have this expectation that because we can see right in front of our faces that, oh, here's one, here's the other, that it must have happened relatively quickly because they're side by side, and you have no idea the story that went into that.
What you see is the tip of the iceberg.
Right, no context.
Not everything underneath. So remember, you guys, by the end of the day, you know, your journey is all about who you are becoming in the process. You have to make sacrifices in order to become that person that you wish to become. But unless you're uber clear on what problem it's going to solve for you, you're going to keep on making excuses, and you're going to keep on like staying in the same rabbit hole or feeling stuck. So you have to go through the list of things that we talked about today in order to make the sacrifices that you need in order to get to where you want to. Otherwise, you're going to keep on making excuses. Most people are not even aware that they're making excuses, but that's on them. If you showed up this morning, then now you're aware. And you know what? The least I can ask you is if you ever catch yourself saying I can't, then at least know that you're full of shit.
I want you to post it on the Erin Sarit group wall when you find yourself having the epiphany of like, you said you can't, you caught yourself, you asked yourself, is that the truth? Most likely it's not, and it can be replaced with won't. Be willing to fill in the actions that it takes to get result, right? I'm not willing to do XYZ to get this thing. Right? I want you to post on the wall if you ever catch yourself and you can think of the real answer. And I want you to let us all know, because that's a breakthrough. And then when you become aware, it actually becomes easier for you to take the next steps forward. But I would encourage you to write it down. If you're not willing to do XYZ, well then clearly XYZ is what you need to do. Where are you going to fit those in? Right? So I believe that's it for today. Don't have can't only your heart.
I don't get it.
Me neither. But thank you guys for showing up. We're so stoked to chat with you 5 days a week, hoping to bring you more value than you've ever experienced for something you've even paid for, because we are on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours.
For those of you guys who are starting the raw transformation, this is going to be epic. Congratulations.
Welcome to day one.
For taking this courageous step. You're going to be doing amazing things. For those of you who are on the one-on-one, we will see you later this evening on an epic call. And for the rest of you guys, have an amazing day and week. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30. Bye.